The Nature Boy, Ric Flair, is angry again. Whoa! Welcome back, guys, to Fog Wrestling. We're here to talk about the 16-time world champion. But does that number 16 really represent world titles won? Or does it represent the amount of rants that Ric Flair goes on a daily basis? Because he always seems to be pissed off at somebody, whether it's the WWE, whether it's AEW, whether it's Jim Ross, whether it's Eric Bischoff, whether it's MJF, whether it's blood and women's wrestling. There's a lot of things that Ric Flair doesn't like, but one thing that he definitely doesn't like is people criticising him, and especially criticising his last match, which, let's be honest, maybe we'll get added to the Ric Flair list of rants, because the match was absolutely garbage. It was funny from a standpoint where you literally thought Ric Flair could die. And I don't mean that would be funny if he died, but, you know, it was just an absolute mess. The match was a shit show. I mean, if this happened on Raw between, like, two guys that were normal, then, no, they'd be calling it the worst match ever. But because it featured 73-year-old Ric Flair, you know, you couldn't help but find it comical. But at the end of the day, it was comical in an embarrassing way. We were laughing at Rick. We weren't laughing with him.
But what were you expecting? What were people expecting, though? 73 years old. Did you expect much more from him? I know he promised toys at an 8.
Well, hold on. He went to the top rope for a superplex and he decided, no, I'm not doing it. So, I was expecting a wee bit more, to be honest.
I'm actually surprised he went to the top rope.
But anyway, let's speak of the top rope. It looks like Ric Flair wants to go to the top rope again and dive off it. But this time, he wants to jump on to Dutch Mantell. So Dutch Mantell was recently on a podcast. I believe he's got his own podcast with sportskida.com. A lot of wrestlers, or a lot of, you know, wrestling personalities seem to have podcasts with Sportskida. You've got Dutch Mantell. You've also got Vince Russo, who I don't think Ric Flair is a fan of either. But Dutch Mantell was kind of criticising Ric Flair. He was defending people that paid to go and watch Ric Flair's last match, because people that basically, anybody that said something negative about Flair, Ric Flair kind of just came out and told them, you know, fuck off, shut up, screw you. So we all know
he's very rude these days.
Yeah,
Rick.
we all know that Rick, he gets very defensive. He always responds badly to criticism, even constructive criticism. Ric Flair just can't handle it. If JR says something, or if Eric Bischoff says something and it's like slightly out of tone, or Rick, like, you know, reads it the wrong way, then he just goes into a meltdown mode, and he's done that again here. So Dutch Mantell was saying, quote, "I've had people write me out, and seriously, people thought he was going to die. I think he passed out a time or two in there. He doesn't even remember it. Ric Flair now is trying to leave a legacy, and he should have left it alone, or changed a lot of things in that match, because his legacy is now tarnished. I don't know. Ric Flair is full of shit and always has been." End of quotes. That's what Dutch Mantell said about Flair. He also says that ticket prices for the match were very expensive, and that, you know, if fans felt like they got ripped off, if fans felt like the match was poor, then they have every right to voice their opinion. So he was kind of defending the fans from Ric Flair. Then the guy in the Sportskida interview also says that Rick got injured a couple months before the match. They spoke about how he turned up to the match drunk, and, you know, how he passed out, and it was a mess. Let's be honest, Dutch Mantell spoke about how, you know, Ric Flair might have been able to do that years ago, but he certainly can't do it now. And Dutch said how back when he was in his prime that, you know, he couldn't get drunk or else he wouldn't be able to wrestle. I kind of agree with that. I mean, there's a difference between Ric Flair when he's like in his 30s, 40s, maybe even 50s. There's a difference between him getting absolutely drunk and going out and wrestle, and then trying to do it when you're 73. For Rick to think he could just go and do that is delusional.
Most people, though, when they're 73, couldn't even handle, like, drinking even hungover the next morning, let alone wrestling.
Yeah, so, I mean,
what was he doing?
For Ric Flair to think he could go and get pished and then go and have the match, I think was, delusional, especially at the age of 73. But Ric Flair responded to Dutch Mantell, and he was referring to the fact that they called him on the podcast, they said he was a veteran and not a legend, and Ric Flair spoke about that. Flair said, quote, "Thank God they used the word veteran and didn't call you a legend. Just a miserable old wrestler trying to make a buck." And by the way,
sounds like him.
You never had a legacy to begin with. Woo! End of quote. Now, Ric Flair did actually say, woo! That wasn't me just adding that there. That's how he ended his sentence on his podcast. But yeah, no, like you picked up on when I was reading out the quote and you kind of rudely interrupted me there. Yeah, for Ric Flair to say that he's just an old, miserable wrestler trying to make a buck, isn't this what Ric Flair does? Seriously, Ric Flair's 73. He's like, daily interacting, whether he's tweeting or, making podcasts or making feds. This guy is on a daily basis, delivering content, giving his opinion, speaking about things. And, he'll run down anything, he'll bury anything, he'll kiss the ass of anything if he thinks it will put him in a positive light and potentially get him clicks or get him opportunities. So, I don't get it. Why is Dutch Mantell, why is Dutch Mantell, doing podcasts? Why is him giving us an opinion? Why does that make him a miserable old wrestler trying to make a buck? But, Ric Flair can do the exact same thing. He can have a podcast. He can go on rants. He can make people pay overpriced tickets for one final match at 73. And that doesn't make him an old, miserable wrestler trying to make a buck. Seems to be one rule for Ric Flair and, a different rule for everyone else. Does Ric Flair think that because he's a nature boy, he's the only, old, past it, retired wrestler that should be on platforms giving opinions?
That's what he thinks. And you know what? See Ric Flair, see the way he's going, see when he dies, he's going to have no friends. He's literally cutting all Britain. I mean, look at... He said the exact same stuff about Triple H, Rollins, Becky Lynch, and look at him. He's backstage fucking greeting, bowing down to them. He's an embarrassing old bastard. See if he actually stuck to his word. I have respect for him.
Yeah, see if he stuck to his principle.
Even if it was retarded, I'd be like, you know what? At least he fucking...
I guarantee you, see over that man shit, I guarantee you Triple H and him came to an agreement. Whether it be money or something, or, what, Flair, we'll bring you back in or something, we'll put you back in the opening, we'll give you your royalty. Because, do you think Ric Flair just woke up one day and went, like, you know what? I was being over the top about that whole man thing. I'll just apologise.
No chance.
Fucking no chance, man.
Dollar sign, brother.
Yeah, so he can accuse other people of trying to make a buck, but Ric Flair's the worst of them all. How many fucking failed retirements have we had? The guy had a retirement match, perfect ending in WWE, absolutely perfect ending, came out the next night on Raw, the Ric Flair appreciation night. That was perfect, and it wasn't enough for him, so he had to go and bleed some money out of Dixie Carter and TNA. And don't get me wrong, I have actually really enjoyed his TNA run, so I'm kind of glad he did. But then after that, he left TNA. And look at him before he went to TNA. When he was asked about it in interviews, like, what's TNA?
Exactly.
This is in 2007. He was saying, what do you mean, what's... He knows fine well what TNA was. Kurt Angle in it.
I know, it's just being disrespectful, and then you see...
But then he'll go and take the money, he'll take the TNA money. And now when he's left TNA, he's saying, it was the part of my career I regret the most. Really? Out of the things Ric Flair's done, he regrets his TNA.
Embarrassing.
He regrets his TNA run the most. Then he went on that Hulkamania tour, where it was basically him and Hulk having the same fucking match every single night, touring the world, just two old guys bleeding every single night. That was a mess. Did you ever see any of those matches?
Aye, fucking disaster class.
Literally, Ric Flair, Hogan, touring Australia, touring everywhere, and having the same bloody match where the two of them are bleeding all over each other, and 15-minute match, and they can barely bloody walk, barely stand, man. And then obviously he said a lot of controversial stuff after that. He's just damn right disrespectful, whether it be Dutch Mantell or JR or Eric Bischoff. Ric Flair. I think he is losing his friends. I've kind of lost a bit of respect for him. I think he's great, but...
He's going downhill. The estimation is going down.
Ric Flair, the character and the wrestler, I think great. Ric Flair, the person, I think's an arsehole. So, yeah, that's my thoughts on Flair.
Yeah, ever since that whole panel WWE 2K, or no, WWE 13, it's kind of just fucking nosedive for there.
And seeing you think about it, right, I know we said Ric Flair was great during that, and he was. It was funny as fuck. But how disrespectful. Remember what he said about Daniel Bryan? Remember he was ripping Daniel Bryan? It's you don't belong up here.
Fuck it. That was fine by my book, though.
No, it's that. Come on. promoting the new game.
I know.
Daniel Bryan's the guy that WWE's pushing as a top star, and Ric Flair's basically like, "Who the fuck are you? I wouldn't pay to see you." I mean, what the? I mean, come on.
God damn it!
And Jim Ross is the one that got sacked. Yeah, he wants to call it Jim Ross. Then he makes up lies, just constantly lies. He says that, "Oh, look at me, I'm being invited to Raw 30th, and you're not Jim Ross." Yeah, funnily enough, that's because Jim Ross works for fucking AEW.
I know.
You absolute tool. It's not like Jim Ross is sitting at home waiting on a phone call for WWE.
Where's my phone call, damn it?
Anyway, guys, that's it. Let's know your thoughts on Ric Flair. I mean, Ric Flair, like I said, the wrestler, I mean, absolutely phenomenal. People can say he was a bit, boring in the ring, same shit every night. I mean, I get that, but I mean, a lot of wrestlers are like that. This is kind of, if you look down on it, like a lot of people do the same shit.
I know. Ric
Flair was ahead of his time, though. Let's be honest. In terms of promos and personality and a character-wise, I mean, look at the 80s. It was full of boring bastards, and you had Ric Flair.
Exactly.
I'm not gonna have anyone say he was like overrated or he sucked, but he certainly did not. But yeah, Ric Flair. And another thing I want to point out here quickly before we end. It's like, how many 73-year-olds, right, actually are in Spotlight and have access to like a wide range of like subscribers or have like a big audience that they can interact with on like a daily basis.
I know.
This could be normal. Let's be honest. Seeing you get older, you probably do go a bit senile. You probably do get more delusional. Maybe you do get more negative. Maybe you look back and you criticise people. Maybe you do grow some jealousy due to the fact that it's 73. Not only is your career well and truly over, but you're coming towards like the end of your life, and then maybe you do look at other people who are maybe still in their career, still doing their career. People that are a lot younger than you. Maybe people that have got another half of their life ahead of them, and maybe that can make you a bit jealous, that can make you a bit angry, and maybe just being at 73 you might not remember things as good as you used to, you might get a bit senile and all stuff like this. But I mean, most 73-year-olds don't have podcasts where they have the opportunity to bury people and embarrass themselves on a daily basis, and Ric Flair does have that.
He does, but I mean, there's people similar age to him not acting nowhere near like him. I mean, look at the way Hogan gets treated. Hogan doesn't fucking come out with any of this stuff.
Alright, well, we'll talk about age and being senile. Look at Joe Biden. He shouldn't fucking... If Joe...
Him and Flair look a wee bit similar.
No, but my point is...
Slick back hair. Absolutely done.
If Joe Biden wasn't president, he'd still be, Sleepy Joe, but no one would really know about it because he'd be in his house and...
Yeah.
But... guess that's what happens with fame, guys. Anyway, Ric Flair, maybe it is time to tone it down a wee bit. Conrad Thompson, man, I'm surprised he doesn't sometimes look. But then again, he's going to kiss Ric Flair's ass because obviously he wants to be a part of Flair. He makes money for Flair, so he's not going to, say too much about the Nature Boy. But yeah, I just think it's 73.
Married his daughter, isn't he?
Yeah, I just think it's 73, man. I think you need one more thing. Like, I wonder what Ric Flair's other daughter looks like. Because Conrad Thompson is hardly a fucking hunk, is he? Like,
fuck, I mean,
I wonder if she looks anything like Charlotte.
16 more plastic than Charlotte.
16 times surgery champion, brother. Woo! Anyway, guys, that's it. Till next time.
Peace.
Peace.